Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show where we take complex topics, stack up the research, and give you the essential shortcut to being well-informed. I'm Lex.
And I'm Vera. It's great to be back.
Yeah.
And a specific warm welcome to all our followers on the C9 podcast and business page.
Today we are deep diving into infrastructure and strategy, aimed squarely at Australian business owners and C-level executives. I mean, if you are tired of watching growth targets slip because you're shackled to legacy systems, or if, high costs are just paralyzing your innovation budget, this is for you.
Absolutely. Our focus today is very timely and very specific. The 2026 AWS Power Surge.
Okay.
And this is a huge story. It's not just about physical expansion, but how this whole combination of data center investment and custom silicon creates a massive opportunity for Australian businesses.
Right.
We're really looking at how you can capitalize on this to overcome what are, frankly, becoming existential threats in a data-driven economy where efficiency is king.
So our mission today is to analyze that opportunity and, maybe more importantly, identify the pitfalls that so often derail these big IT transformations.
Exactly.
And for those of you focused on leveraging this evolution right now, we are C9, Australia's leading custom software, apps, integration, and database developer. We specialize in making these transformations a success.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's start by just unpacking the sheer scale of the investment here. We're talking about a monumental commitment from AWS.
Huge.
They're pouring $20 billion into Australia between 2025 and 2029. And that's specifically to expand their data centers in Sydney and Melbourne. This isn't just maintenance, is it?
No, not at all. This is next generation capacity being built as we speak. And what's fascinating is the strategic intent behind that money. For Australian businesses, this directly addresses chronic issues like, struggling with outdated infrastructure. That $20 billion provides hyperscale capacity that's specifically optimized for the next wave of AI workloads.
So beyond just making things faster, what's the immediate tangible benefit for, say, an executive who's focused on risk and compliance?
It all comes down to locality and regulation. Executives, especially those governed by regulators like APRA, they demand local data sovereignty.
Right.
This expansion guarantees extremely low latency and solid local compliance foundations. So you're not just getting faster servers, you're getting servers that meet really strict Australian regulatory requirements. That just drastically reduces your risk profile.
I also saw that the $20 billion pledge includes building 3 new solar farms. That sustainability angle feels pretty critical in the current market.
It's absolutely critical. It aligns perfectly with evolving Australian environmental policies. For a C-level executive, this translates into something really important.
Which is?
Accessing robust green-powered infrastructure. It not only reduces your operational costs in the long run, but it also boosts your brand alignment with environmental goals. That's a necessary part of modern corporate responsibility now.
But the real technological earthquake here, according to the sources, isn't just the physical buildings, it's the custom silicon. Let's talk about Trainium3.
Yes. Trainium3 is the key. It represents AWS's dedication to vertically integrating its hardware. These are custom chips slated for volume production in 2026.
Yeah.
And the data suggests they will offer up to 40% better price performance for critical AI training and inference tasks compared to what's out there now.
40%. That sounds like a massive shift. What does that functionally change for a CFO who's deciding where to allocate their AI budget?
No, it's transformative. It significantly erodes our current reliance on expensive general-purpose GPUs that, they weren't really built for these specific cloud environments.
So it's more efficient.
Means firms, especially in data-heavy sectors like finance, utilities, healthcare, they can integrate scalable, production-ready AI cost-effectively. That 40% improvement is a direct reduction in the barrier to entry for serious business-driving AI.
Okay. That brings us to our next section. We have this massive opportunity arriving in 2026, but before we get there, there's a trap a lot of cost-conscious executives are falling into. If the AWS Surge is the high road, what are the potholes?
The pothole we see most often is the executive chasing the lowest upfront cost. It seems logical, but it leads them straight into the hands of what the sources call the AI cowboys.
AI cowboys.
Low-cost AI app builders, freelancers. You know the type. They promise these quick, cheap solutions.
And what are they actually selling under the hood?
They're often delivering what we call vibes coding.
Vibes coding.
It's intuitive ad hoc programming. It's written fast to get a function working, but it completely lacks the rigorous structure, the documentation, the formal methodologies you need for enterprise-level systems.
So it sounds fast and cheap on the sales call, but I'm guessing the consequences are pretty substantial for a detail-oriented organization.
Catastrophic long-term. Those systems are incredibly brittle. They might pass a demo, sure, but they often just crumble under real-world transactional demands. Then you have skyrocketing maintenance costs. It's like building a house on shaky foundations. We had one executive who spent a lot of capital on a cheap integration, only to realize no other developer could even update it because the freelancer used proprietary, undocumented libraries. The knowledge was locked entirely in one person's head.
Wow. So that's the longevity trap. But if we connect this back to Australian data compliance, does vibes coding introduce regulatory dangers too?
Oh, absolutely. This is critical. Undocumented ad hoc code introduces gray areas that are just ripe for breaching Australian privacy regulations and data handling laws.
Because you can't prove how the data is being handled.
Exactly. If you cannot rigorously demonstrate how data is handled, stored, protected in every line of code, which vibes coding just bypasses, you are exposing your firm to significant risk, fines, and severe reputational damage.
And these makeshift solutions, I assume they won't scale to use the new AWS silicon in 2026 anyway.
Not a chance. You'll be forced into costly rewrites, which just nullifies any of those short-term savings you thought you were making.
That knowledge gap, that failure to transfer operational understanding, it seems to be the single biggest factor, turning a short-term save into a long-term nightmare.
It confirms that seizing the 2026 AWS opportunity requires a focus on robust, integrated systems built not just for today, but with knowledge transfer and scalability baked in from the start. That demands a strategic partner, and, well, this is where the C9 model becomes necessary.
Our approach centers on what we call a blended hybrid model. We're specifically combining offshore talent with dedicated onshore Australian teams. So we're not just offshoring tasks, we're integrating teams.
And that gives you the best of both worlds. You get the efficiency of accessing a broad global talent pool, which is crucial given the demand for AWS skills, while you mitigate risk through that local expertise.
Right.
And that local expertise ensures strict compliance with Australian standards, security protocols, and operational expectations.
And just looking at the economic advantage for the C-suite, what are we talking about in terms of savings compared to, say, a purely local hire model?
The sources show you can achieve cost savings of up to 40% compared to relying purely on local hires.
40% again?
Exactly. It's because you're leveraging global market rates strategically. It makes these advanced AWS cloud IT infrastructure development services affordable without sacrificing any quality or local oversight.
We also offer staff augmentation flexibility. But often executives are a bit wary of hiring just one developer who might, leave 6 months later. How do we structure augmentation to ensure project stability?
We move beyond that single developer model. We provide integrated teams of specialists, apps, integrations, databases, architects, all working together. And to ensure we get dedicated resources and deep project immersion, we recommend minimum lock-in contracts, usually 3 to 6 months.
Okay, but hang on. A lock-in. Doesn't that remove flexibility?
Not in this context. If you're tackling a complex integrated systems problem, monthly churn is the enemy of progress.
Right.
The lock-in ensures our team is fully integrated. It dedicates time to mapping decision points early, which leads to better long-term execution and, crucially, smoother knowledge transfer. We cover the entire stack, from junior developers right through to highly skilled architects and integrators.
And just for transparency, for anyone out there budgeting for this kind of transformation, what do those blended rates look like in practice for FY2526?
Using our blended model, which maximizes that efficiency and local quality control, you're looking at junior developers around AU $80 per hour, mid-level at about AU $110, senior at AU $140, and an architect around AU $160 per hour.
Okay.
That transparency allows executives to budget accurately for innovation, knowing the rate reflects the high quality of that hybrid integration.
Okay, let's unpack this last common executive mistake. So if AI cowboys are one trap, there's a second equally common misstep: skipping the discovery phase. They see that initial 30 or 60-minute collaborative session as just a time sink, sales pitch.
And it is non-negotiable. Skipping it is perhaps the single most expensive decision an executive can make.
Why?
Because skipping discovery leads directly to mismatched solutions, wasted budgets, prolonged timelines, scope creep. I mean, it aggravates the very high-cost triggers they were trying to avoid in the first place.
So how does that discovery session flip the script and actually generate value right away?
We use that session to collaboratively map decision points, to identify technical risks before a line of code is written. And this is critical break large initiatives into stages for early ROI.
So instead of one massive, expensive project.
We identify quick wins, an initial integration that generates efficiency savings, for example, and then use those tangible savings to fund the future phases of development.
That's fascinating. So you're turning phase one savings into the phase two budget. This is a sharp contrast to the quick hit appeal of indicative pricing.
Indicative pricing is tempting because it gives you a quick answer, a ballpark figure rounded to the nearest day or week, but it just ignores complexity and guarantees unexpected changes down the line. What really stands out is the value of precision.
Can you give us a tangible example of that precision?
Sure. Our discovery-based pricing is precise to the nearest hour because it's grounded in project specifics. An indicative quote for a complex AWS migration might be 1 week, costing the firm, say, AU $5,000.
Okay.
But discovery, through rigorous mapping of data silos and integration points, might refine that estimate to 38 hours. At our blended rates, that project is now AU $4,180.
But you're saving money immediately.
You save money, you maximize accuracy, and you ensure your staged project starts with immediate, quantifiable ROI.
So what does this all mean for the Australian C-suite? The 2026 AWS Power Surge, with its AU $20 billion investment in custom silicon revolution, it is a golden opportunity to overcome legacy woes and drive profitability.
But success hinges on leaving that quick fix mentality behind. You have to partner with a firm that prioritizes detailed planning, strategic knowledge transfer, and precise collaboration.
Partnering with C9, you gain tailored AWS Cloud IT infrastructure development services that innovate strategically, build trust through transparency, and collaborate for lasting, scalable success. So we invite you to schedule a discovery call today to precisely map your path to efficiency and growth using this new infrastructure. You can find us at www.cline.com.au.
And please, if this deep dive has clarified the path forward for your organization, click that follow button and share this with others in your network who can benefit from this knowledge.
Before we close out, what's that final provocative thought you want to leave with the listener?
Never forget that building an integrated compliance system using this new AWS architecture isn't just an IT expense, it's a strategic funding mechanism. The goal is to turn the initial efficiency savings you get in Phase 1 into the actual self-sustaining funding engine for all your future innovation in Phase 2. Your existing systems, when they're modernized, are the fuel for your competitive advantage.